What's happening, family? It's Cat Sports again, back for another afternoon with my people. Now, as usual, before I get started, let me give a shout out to the JBT community. It's just boxing talk. We're just a group of people that love to talk boxing. And we're always looking for others to join us. You don't have to have a channel or a podcast, anything like that. The only requirement is you just have to love to talk boxing. That's all. That's all. Miss Katz, hashtag JBT. Tim Layton, hashtag JBT. Mike Masick. Justin James, hashtag JBT. Mike Rhyme. Ant McQueen. Thomas Hill, hashtag JBT. Showtime, the guy Pass, all the way from St. Louis, Missouri. In the building. Lonnie Lee, hashtag JBT, in the building from the start today because I started late. Had an appointment this morning. Got home about 5 up 2. But here we go. And remember, today is going to be the show about the Mafia in boxing. Okay? And we're going to have to jump right into it because I usually wait until 2:30 to start, remember? But guess what? It's 2:37. It's 2:37. But how's everybody doing this Tuesday afternoon? This is the Tuesday afternoon edition of Cat Sports, the Box Story. Oh, but I wanted to mention, I see Bud has activated his mandatory on, he's got the winner of Tim Sue and the Towering Inferno. I can't remember his nickname better than I can remember his name, but Fundora, Sebastian Fundora. Yeah. Bud's supposed to get the winner. All right. But the thing is, that would probably be later on in the summer sometime, but it'd be off for a year. It's pretty hard for him to get another fight in that, you know. But I don't know. I just know Bud has activated his mandatory, and he's the mandatory for the winner of Tim Sue and Sebastian Fundora. So I guess that's officially it for Bud and Earl. I guess we can call that over, right? Yep. So you saw that, Justin. I got Tim winning it. But hey, it's boxing, you never know. I just don't know how Sebastian Fundora is getting a title shot coming off a loss. He got sparked in his last fight. Boxing is a trip nowadays, man. You don't even have to earn the title. You can go out there and get knocked out. Come back in your next fight and fight for the title. I think that's totally ridiculous. You know, I really do. But yeah, we're going to talk about today the history of the Mafia in boxing, and tomorrow's going to be, we're going to talk about some great trilogies. I got 15 good trilogies. You know, like Ali Frazier, Gotti Ward Gotti. Who will ever forget that one? Holyfield Bull had 3 of them. Yeah, I got 15 good trilogies we're going to talk about. Then Thursday, we're going to talk about these historic venues that give us these fights are at around the world, you know. Fighters got to have somewhere to fight at, right? We're going to talk about the Garden, Madison Square, that is. Then we got the MGM Grand out in Vegas. Caesar's Palace. Gotta put that in there. The old Boardwalk Hall up at AC. Yeah. I seen an all women's card up there one way back in the 80s one time. Some local fighters. It was good too. The old Boardwalk Hall. Yeah, AC used to be the spot. Didn't Boots fight there last year? You know, Wembley. Over in England. Can't forget Wembley. Had some of the biggest fights in Europe in Wembley. Yeah. The O2. The AO. York Hall. Yeah, that's going to be Thursday. And then the profile this week is going to be Rocky Marciano's and Rock. So, yeah. That's how we bringing it this week. But everybody okay this Tuesday afternoon? Yeah, we're going to jump into the show in about 5 minutes. Yeah, Canelo and Jaime got a press conference today at 5 too. Right? I don't know where it's at. Fight is in Vegas, right? Yeah, they said the press conference at 5. I believe 5 Eastern time, I think. Yeah. So that's today. And this weekend. I think we got a UK card or something this weekend. You know. Here's Jay Hardcore of Hardcore Boxing News in the building. Hashtag JBT. What's up, Jay? We'll be talking about a little bit about the Mafia and their doings in boxing today. You didn't miss nothing, Jacob. It just started at 2:30. I was late. Yeah. An appointment. Just got home at 5 minutes to 2. I said, I can't start the show at 2 o'clock. I had to get my little slide presentation ready. Didn't have that ready. I only got 5 of them today. Had to get that ready. I said, I can't start at 2. I be cutting my people short to go in there all incomplete and stuff. But salute to Jay Hardcore, hashtag JBT, the creator of the JBT. And if anybody hadn't heard, we're having a meeting Saturday, 1 p.m. More details to come, okay? But yeah, first JBT meeting Saturday at 1, and more information to follow. When I get it, you'll get it. There's the man that we're going to get it from right there, Jay Hardcore. Yep. All right. But everybody doing okay this Tuesday afternoon? I'm doing okay now that I'm in here with the JBTians. Let's get ready to do it. Okay. This is the Mafia in boxing. History. Some people say that it's still, meddling in it. We don't need the Mafia. We got the Godfather. What we need the Mafia for? But the old Godfather doing his thing. You know. Just look no further than that. Remember that George Cambosos Maxie Hughes? Tell me that wasn't fixed. Tell me that wasn't a fixed fight. Maxie Hughes watched that man. But look who hand got raised, George Cambosos. So what we need the Mafia for? We got the Godfather. Remember? Maxie Hughes won like 10-2. George Cambosos himself know he didn't win that fight, man. But he got to know it. So yeah, what do we need the Mafia in boxing for then? Okay. Now, everybody okay? It's Tuesday. Well, we get a preview at 3:45 of tomorrow's hashtag Let's Talk Fashion too. Justin said he believes the mob has ties, but it's probably not as strong. Yeah, no, it's not. No way, Justin. Yeah, the government stepped in there in the 60s and a couple boxers testified and some people went to jail. Some promoters, people that was affiliated with that IBC. I think it was the IBC, that the mob sanctioning body run by the mob. I'm gonna get to that, but yeah, early 60s. Dick LaMotta testified that he had to throw a fight to get positioning to get a title. Yeah. So yeah, you're 100% correct, Justin. It's still, they still got ties in it, but not as strong as it used to be. Like I said, we got the Godfather. Look no further than Maxie Hughes and George Campos to tell me that wasn't fixed. That was already predetermined who was going to win it, because George Campos was clearly lost. Maxie Hughes had him missing, piecing him up with that jab. Then Campos got his hand raised. So, yeah, the mob is still in it. They don't call him the Bob Father for nothing. I better stop. Okay. But the Mafia has a long history of involvement in boxing. Okay. And one of their most notorious activities was fixing fights. Now, the Mafia's involvement in fixing fights was motivated by their desire to make money through illegal gambling and by exerting control over the sport, right? In the early 20th century, the Mafia began to establish itself as a dominant force in boxing by bribing fighters, managers, and promoters, okay? And the Mafia would also intimidate boxers and threaten their families to ensure that they complied with their demands. Yeah, that's the thing, man. Somebody might don't care. I don't care what you do to me, but when you start talking about their family, man, that'll make a person, fold, Because you can't watch nobody 24/7, right? And the Mafia got their ways of getting to you. And let me look out this window. Oh, I don't see nothing. Yeah, but seriously, yeah. When you start talking about them families, man, that make a lot of people bend to the demands, right? So that's what the Mafia started doing to the boxers. They started threatening their families to make them comply with what they wanted them to do, Yeah. Now, the Mafia's influence over boxing reached its peak in the 1940s and 1950s, when they controlled many of the top fighters and fixed numerous high-profile matches, including a lot of championship matches, right? One of the most infamous examples was the 1947 fight between Tony Zale and Rocky Graziano, which was allegedly fixed by the Mafia to ensure that Graziano won. 1947. There's Remo. Hashtag Let's Talk Fashion. Hashtag JBT. You like that thumbnail? Yeah. Thank you, Remo. We're going to get a preview on hashtag Let's Talk Fashion at 3:45. 3:45? Yeah, 3:45. Right. You didn't miss much, Remo, because I just started at 2:30. But yeah, that fight was one of the most obvious fixes, Tony Zale and Rocky Graziano. And the following decades after that, the government took steps to crack down on the Mafia and their involvement in boxing, including the passage of the Federal Boxing Control Act. I couldn't find too much on that. Okay. In 1954, and the establishment of the United States Boxing Association, USBA, in 1962. Okay. Now, while the Mafia's influence over boxing has declined in recent years, and this is what you were saying, Justin. While the influence has declined in recent years, there have been occasionally reports of their continued involvement in fixing fights. Yeah, really believe that. Okay, now I got a couple things I want to talk about. Showtime, the guy passes in the building. Salute. Well, all the way from St. Louis, Missouri. Now, couple of things I want to talk about. Now, the world of professional boxing, with its glitz, glamour, and tales of triumph, harbors a shadowy underbelly that often goes unnoticed. Beneath the roar of the crowd and the dazzling lights of the ring, there exists a complex web of connections between organized crime, particularly the Mafia, and the boxing industry. This article aims to explore the historical and sometimes controversial links between the Mafia and the world of pugilism, delving into instances where these connections went awry. Okay, the history of entanglements. Now here we go. I got five. Well, first, the twirling of the Mafia and professional boxing dates back to the early 20th century, like I was saying. As the sport gained popularity, organized crime saw an opportunity for lucrative financial gain and influence. Notorious crime families sought control over boxing promotions, management, and even individual fighters. Now, this is about the exploitation of fighters. Now, one of the dark realities of Mafia involvement in boxing is the exploitation of fighters. Some fighters, desperate for success and financial stability, found themselves ensnared in contracts that heavily favored organized crime figures. And the Mafia, the manager of the fighters, was controlled by the Mafia, right? And yeah. And they was taking a significant portion of the boxer's earnings, okay, leaving the boxer financially shackled. Okay, and the bribing and fixing the matches. Now, the most famous connection between the Mafia and boxing is in the allegations of fight fixing and bribery. Throughout boxing, there have been many instances where organized crime sought to manipulate the outcome of fights, either to secure bets or to boost the standing of a particular fighter associated with the Mafia. Now, Sonny Liston, it was widely, well, almost a known fact that he was mixed up with the Mafia. Sonny, yeah. Yeah, there he is. Sonny Liston. He was a fearsome heavyweight champion in the 1960s. Now he clearly had ties to organized crime. It haunted him throughout his career. Rumors still go on today that his connection to the Mafia influenced his boxing career. You know, a lot of allegations of a lot of fixed fights, okay, in Liston's career. Even his death in 1970 remains shrouded in mystery, adding another layer to the complex relationship between him and the Mafia and boxing. Sonny Liston. Now, I got five things I want to talk about. Okay. But everybody doing okay this afternoon? Yeah, y'all here. I told you, Bud. Bud is once getting the winner of Zoo and Pandora. Oh, buddy. Yeah. Oh, you know Liston's grandson, Showtime? Oh, right. Yeah, that's all right. Okay. Now, Sugar Ray Robinson. Let's talk about Sugar Ray Robinson. Okay. Now, he, I'm going to turn this down a little bit too. Okay. Make sure you don't miss tomorrow though, because that's on the we're gonna talk about some trilogies tomorrow. I got some good ones too. 15 trilogies. Where's the volume? There it is. Brandcast brand. There we go. Perfect. Okay. I keep checking, see if I don't want to miss anybody. Now, Sugar Ray, right? He was now, you know, he was known as the greatest fighter in the history of the sport, right? And he had a whole big high level of respect from the during his era, from fighters, especially from his peers, fans, managers, promoters, and even from the mobsters, okay? Because the mob don't usually take no for an answer, right? But because they used to get in their way when they approach you. But they kept offering Sugar Ray chances to throw fights, and Sugar Ray kept turning them down, right? Received several offers that he wasn't expected to refuse. It's the mob, right? Throughout his Hall of Fame career. And the most notable was he got an offer from the mob on the eve of his fight, St. Valentine's Day Massacre. Ended up being called with Jake LaMotta. Remember that one? The mob approached him about throwing that fight. Sugar Ray turned them down. They called him the night before the fight. Guy named Mr. Gray. And that was alias of a monster by the name of Frankie Carbo, Mr. Gray. Okay? Called Sugar Ray the night before the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. There's Mr. Gray. Right? Before the day before the St. Valentine's Day Massacre, offered him money to throw the fight. Sugar Ray turned them down. Okay? And Frankie Carbo was a Mafia hitman. But for Sugar Ray, kept turning them down, and the only blowback he got was it delayed title shots for him, okay? Because he decided to go along without the Mafia. Normally, you make a move like that to the mob, that's usually the end of your career. Or even worse. You know what worse is? You or a family member disappeared, you know? But Sugar Ray had so much respect and everything in the game that even the mob, you know, they didn't bother him. Even though he turned down their offers over and over and over. Yeah. Yeah. So his aura and overall greatness was a decisive factor in the mob just leaving him alone, because he boldly turned them down numerous times without any serious consequences. Sugar Ray. Now Jake LaMotta, he didn't turn him down. Oh, Jake. And Jake ended up testifying against him too. Okay, there's Jake. Wait, it ain't 3 o'clock already. I've been talking like 10 minutes. I came on at 2:30. It should be 20 to 3, but it's 3 o'clock. Now, Jake LaMotta, he was involved in some fixed fights. He admitted it before Congress. There's Bruce Gass, boxing, jazz, and more. Salute Bruce Gass in the building. And that is another great channel where you can get history. And guess what? That's where the Boxtorian goes to get his history, over there from Bruce Gass. Yep. That's where I go to get my history. Okay? Now, Jake LaMotta in the Mafia. That's where Sugar Ray turned them down. Jake decided to go the other way, because Jake probably wouldn't have been as fortunate as Sugar Ray. Something probably would have happened to Jake. You know what I mean? Yeah, Sugar Ray was a bad man, Jay. Yes, he was. Okay, let me take my little drink before. Tuesday afternoon cooler. It's cold too. Okay. Jake LaMotta fixed title dealers. Now, like I was saying, while Sugar Ray's reputation kept him safe from the Mafia, his biggest rival Jake LaMotta just couldn't turn him down. Okay. The Bronx called Jake the Bronx Bull. He was one of the most connected mafia fighters in history. Yes, Jake LaMotta. With his criminal ties sometimes working in his favor and against him at different points in his career. Now, his most prominent deal with the mafia came in Bruce Gas, you don't have that laptop yet? Damn. They said Saturday the 16th. Okay, anyway. Yeah, Jake's most prominent deal came ahead of his 1947 meeting with Billy Fox. He agreed to throw the fight, right? And that was because he won one of those fights against Sugar Ray, and that came right after the fight he won against Sugar Ray, and he had a good fight against Fritz C. Civic, right? And so the Mafia knew that would make Jake a huge betting favorite. He just had recently beat Sugar Ray Robinson. Yeah. So they were smart. Get Jake to throw the fight because he's going to be a huge betting favorite, right? But guess what? For some reason, just before the fight, the odds shifted to Fox. Okay? You know what that was? That was a mob. Adding further to the suspicion, the bookers were only taking wagers on Jake just 3 hours before the fight. And when the fight started, Jake didn't look like himself at all. Because Jake was a pressure come forward fighter. Fox was pushing him back. And he got tamed by Fox. The referee called a halt to it in the 4th round. Okay? Jake clearly threw the fight. So it was clear, obvious that something wasn't right. And the New York State Athletic Commission, the fight was in New York. They noticed too. They suspended Jake indefinitely, right? And in 1960, like I told you, the truth came out. Jake testified in front of Congress against the mob, right? And told all about all the fights he threw, told about their stranglehold on boxing. He admitted to specifically to the Fox fight that he threw it. But he said it wasn't for the money, okay? It was for a shot at the middleweight title. Because like I told you, the mob back around in the 40s, 50s, they controlled titles, who got title shots and everything. So Jake didn't throw the Fox fight for money. He threw it to get a shot at the title, right? Because the title shot he eluded him for 5 years. He hadn't had a title shot. So, and he was deserving of it. But when he finally threw that fight, that's when he got his shot. And he got his shot in 1949, 2 years later. He got to fight Marcel Cerdan, and he won. But it was his testimony years later. His testimony was the key to ending the mob's ruling of boxing, okay? Risked his life doing that. But yeah, it wasn't the only thing that brought him down, but Jake's testimony was key in it. Jake LaMotta, yeah? Bad man, Jake LaMotta. Okay. Bear with me for a minute. Now, Primo Carnera. I don't have a picture of Primo. Put the Mobsters back up there. Since Remo liked that so much. Now, Primo Carnera, he had a real crooked career. I wish I had to put that picture here because he looked like a hood man. Yeah, he was actually a member of the Mafia. Okay, Bruce, I gotta get it. Yeah, I'll get it before I get off of here. Okay, the crooked career of Primo Carnera. Said to have been born at 22 pounds. Wow. In 1906, 22 pounds. Woo. He grew up to be 6'6", 260 pounds. Now, he started out working as a laborer and circus strongman, okay? And he used to box on the side at circuses and stuff. And Master Spoon swooped in to take advantage of him, right? Because he was real popular. And he took the offer from him. Enjoyed a rapid rise to prominence in the ring, okay? Stringing together eye-catching knockouts, drawing huge crowds to witness his freakish side. But all his fights was based on corruption. His opponents were bribed, and if they couldn't be bribed, they were threatened. Okay? If they couldn't be bribed, they were threatened. His management team were clearly gangsters. Had names like Vincent Mad Dog Carl and Owen the Killer Madden. Okay? And those were his promoters. And he wasn't a good fighter. He was clumsy. Didn't have any kind of skills at all. But he was getting victories because of the Mafia. Now, the thing about it, though, they say he never really even knew his fights was fixed. Because they always got they bribed the other guy or threatened his opponent, okay? But they invested in Primo. Thought his rise was genuine. And he got the title in 1931, knocking out Jack Sharkey. I think I had that when I did the fixed fights last week, remember? And he previously got washed by Sharkey, okay? In a legit fight. But they must have got too Sharkey. And much suspicion surrounded the win over Sharkey, too. And Sharkey insisted for the remainder of his life that he lost fairly. Okay? But he fought Max Bayer a year after he got the title. Max Bayer couldn't be bribed, and he beat him. He beat his butt. But Carnera is known as the mob's most influenced fighter. And he finished his career with little or no profit to show for it. After all that. Okay? Finished his career, he was almost broke. Ain't that crazy? Okay, now we're going to talk about Mafia and ties to the Garden. Yes, the Garden. Let me get that up. Bear with me for a second. Yeah, we got the preview of hashtag Let's Talk Fashion coming at yeah, Primo was a big boy, Bruce. Coming at 3:45. Yup. Okay, I gotta get this up for you. Everybody doing okay this Tuesday afternoon? The Canelo press conference is today at 5. Canelo and Jaime, and Bud has activated this mandatory for the WBO to go up and he get the winner of Zoo and the Towering Inferno, which I think is going to be Zoo. Bud beats either one of them. Probably Washington. I can't find what I'm looking for. There we go. Yeah. Okay. Bear with me. I need like 2 minutes. We got plenty of time. Now, Booker was in here, but he never came back. There's Thomas Hill, the mayor of YouTube boxing. Well, mayor of YouTube, period. Not just boxing. That man runs our entire community. Thomas Hill. Yeah. Yep. Thomas Hill. What's up, T. Hill? We're going to talk about the mob, Murder Inc., and Madison Square Garden. Okay? Just bear with me for a second. So I guess that's it for Bud and Earl. You know, we might as well move on from that. I don't know what the deal with Earl, you know. I would retire. I wouldn't play with my vision like that, man. That's the worst handicap you can have is your vision. You know, lose your vision. They call that a catastrophic disability. You know, that vision goes catastrophic. Yeah. I'll be with you in 1 second. I don't know what's taking me so long. Earlier, when I wasn't in here, it was quick. Is everybody okay this Tuesday afternoon? That's what it is. Here we go. I'm ready. D for the win in the building. Salute D for the win. We get them 30 likes one of them days. Might be today. Wow. Only 11? Something ain't right here, man. Let me see here. I used to always wonder before I started this podcast, well, people are always talking about likes and stuff. I see now I'm doing it. Now I'm doing it. Now we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 people. We should have more than 11 likes. But it's all good, I guess. I don't know. I guess people don't like it. If you don't like it, you don't hit the other one then. Hit the down one. Okay. The Mob, Murder Inc. and Madison Square Garden boxing's tale of corruption. Okay. That's Jim Nelson. He actually was in charge of, I think it was that promotional company the mob had was called the IBC, I believe. I believe it was the IBC. But we're going to find out in a minute. This is ridiculous, but it's okay. Now, dim lights barely puncture the cigarette-filled mist that envelops the room. The smooth sound of Louis Armstrong glides across the air, soothing the ears of New York's biggest players and high rollers as they sip the most refined scotch money can buy and talk about the world. Okay? The time is 1950s New York. The place is Toots Shore Bar on 51st Street, Manhattan. And everything about it is effortlessly cool. Okay? Now in the corner sit four particularly shady men who seem uninterested in socializing with the other drinkers of the day. Okay? The eldest of these men is Jim Norris, one of the wealthiest and most powerful men in American sport during the mid-20th century. Okay? Yeah, that's him up there on the screen, Jim Norris. There is a lucrative pie this wily operator doesn't have his finger in. Champion racehorsing, the National Hockey League, and Madison Square Garden. Now he's a major influence in all three of those things: horse racing, hockey, and the garden. Along with his primary title was president of the International Boxing Club, the IBC. That was the sanctioning body run by the mob, okay? The International Boxing Club. Okay? Man. Now this club is an organization in boxing throughout the 1950s, right? And Jim Norris is the man with the connection to ensure it stays that way, okay? Right? That was the organization in boxing in the 50s, the IBC, International Boxing Club. To Norris's left is the most intellectual of the four, equipped with his trademark heavy frame glasses and none too flashy suit. Truman Gibson, okay, one of his subordinates. He was the legal mind, the lawyer, legal mind behind the mob's control over boxing. Truman Gibson, okay? He was a qualified lawyer and influential campaigner for black rights in the political and military field. Oh, right. I like you. Gibson was now deeply engrossed in the complex world of professional boxing, having excelled whilst managing former heavyweight champion Joe Louis. Okay, I knew that name sounded familiar. He used to manage Joe Louis, Truman Gibson. Okay. Yeah, T. Hill. That was the sanctioning body that was run by the mob. Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you, Jay. Yeah. The IBC, International Boxing Club. Now, Truman Gibson had a shrewd legal mind and uncanny eye for business opportunities. Okay. And he was one of the International Boxing Club's biggest assets. They put him up there as a friendly face of an organization that's long been associated with the Mafia. New York's murky underworld. Now, the two other men at the table, okay, they are the primary reasons for this association. Blinky Palermo and Frankie Carbo. I talked about him before. He was heavy into when the mob had control over boxing. Frankie Carbo was one of the main men running it. Okay. Yeah. No, Frankie. Yeah, that looks like John Gotti, but it's not. Okay. I thought it was him at first, too. No, that's Frankie. Pinky Palermo and Frankie Carbo were also at the meeting, right? They were two of New York's most notorious mobsters. Both had served lengthy spells in prison for murder. Okay. Before then. Both had served time. Yeah, see him. Right hand man. You know it. Yeah, they do D for the win. We got the Godfather, D for the win. Like I was saying earlier, just look no further than Cambosos and the guy that just got beat Saturday. What's his name again? Maxie Hughes. Maxie Hughes. Now everybody know that fight was fixed. That man beat Cambosos' butt. Good. Washed him. But Cambosos got his hand raised. It was a fixed fight. The Godfather already had plans for Cambosos and Loma. He didn't have plans for Maxie Hughes and Loma. Clearly a fixed fight. So I'm saying they don't need the Mafia. We got the Godfather. We got Mauricio. What they need the Mafia for? You know? It probably was better when the Mafia was running it. Mauricio. And the Mafia probably was getting women 12 rounds in 3 minutes. Well, like I was saying, okay, Carbo is the brighter of the two between him and Blinky Palermo. Because, he spotted the riches that could potentially be made for the profitable world of boxing promotion, right? And he was making much more money from fixing fights than he was as a mob hitman. Okay. Damn. Yeah, big long limousine pulling up. No jack up. Yeah, but Carver was making much more money fixing fights than he was making as a mob hitman. And when did I say this meeting was? Because he was deep into controlling boxing by this time, by this meeting. I'm gonna get to what this meeting is about in a minute though. What was it? We also got Remo, 1950s New York, coming up at 3:45 with his preview of hashtag Let's Talk Fashion, because there's another one tomorrow already. Remo is once a week, but it seemed like every day. Now, I ain't mad, man. I ain't mad at all, because I love it. Hashtag Let's Talk Fashion. That was a fire one last week, wasn't it? We're going to find out today a little about tomorrow's, but he don't want to give us too much, But just a preview. Now, Palermo, on the other hand, he's the muscle, okay? Carbo is the brains that appear. Palermo is the muscle. Squat, little bull of a man, okay? Quick temper. Fuse blow at the slightest flicker, okay? Now, Carbo gives the orders. Palermo carries them out, right? And he often went violently beyond what was asked of him. Okay. Smoked barbecue chicken and potato salad. I don't know what we having today. Miss Cass in here. What we having today, Miss Cass? Yeah, TL. Now, now see, Carbo was a charmer, right? And he had like a split personality. He could be ruthless, aggressive, one of the scariest guys you've ever met, okay? Called him Mr. Gray because he just stayed in the shadows. Like he called Sugar Ray Robinson that time to offer the bribe. Called himself Mr. Gray. And that was because he stayed in the shadows. He didn't want a public profile. He wanted to do things in private without people knowing his face. That's just how he operated. A nameless face. who was arguably the most powerful man in boxing at that time, Frankie Carbo. Yes, he was. Oh, shoot, battery winding down. Man, I'm getting ready to die on me. That would have been disastrous. Yeah, Frankie Carbo was the most powerful man in boxing at that time. Okay? Then, it was Carbo who decided the fate of the world's top boxers, where they get title shots and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And at that time, sports like football, basketball, baseball, they weren't making the type of money they make today, right? Back then, boxing was actually the most lucrative career in professional sports. Back around the 50s, 40s, 50s, yeah. Because football, baseball, basketball, they wasn't making these hundreds of millions of dollars back then. Mm-mm. So the mob was definitely, the title of world heavyweight champion was the biggest in sports. Was the most prestigious title in the sports world. World heavyweight champion. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Boxing was massive. Yeah. But the bad thing was, for the great fighters of that time, it didn't matter how much hard work they put in, how much long hours they spent running the road or sparring or, hitting the bag, jumping rope to get to the top. Unless you had to be absolutely exceptional, like a Sugar Ray Robinson, right? It was a case of who you knew, rather than what you knew. And you had to cooperate with the mob. Even Sugar Ray was held back from a few title shots, but he didn't get any kind of harm done to him or his family. And see, in the 1950s, the mob's influence over boxing was so pervasive because they controlled the International Boxing Club. And that was the sport's major promotional outfit back then, the IBC. They controlled televised boxing. They gave them even more power. Even controlled the TV. Just Do Boxing in the building. Salute Just Do Boxing. How are you today, bro? The Voice. Coming up in about 30 minutes from now. Salute to Just Do Boxing. Yeah. The IBC was the big deal back in the 50s, 40s, 50s. And no matter how good you was as a fighter, if you didn't cooperate with them, you just didn't get title shots or the big fights. Just didn't get them. Yeah. And plus they controlled the fights, boxing on TV. Now, I'm not saying that every fight was fixed, but a lot of them was. They was either fixed by paying off the judges or one of the fighters agreeing to throw the fight. Okay? And a lot of non-title fights were fixed as well. It was very easy to fix the fight. It wasn't like other sports where you got a whole team out there playing. In boxing, you only got two people. And all you got to get is one of them to cooperate, right? All you got to do is get one of them. Okay? Just corrupt, man. and just righted the sport from the inside because they was controlling things. The mob's influence was enormous. You know, one boxing historian, Ray McCormack, you heard of him? Yeah, he's a historian. I'm a box historian. But Ray was a historian. He said the mob's influence was enormous. I'm sure there was some other box historians before me. Oh, I don't know. Maybe I'm the first one. The mayor of YouTube gave it his name, so yeah, I'm probably the first one. But Ray McCormack, boxing historian, said the mob's influence was enormous, and everyone knew it. That was the thing. Everybody knew it. But it was hard to prove. Okay. Dan Parker of the New York Mirror was a crusading reporter against the mob in boxing. And there were a few others, such as the famous Jimmy Cannon. But a lot of writers were getting payoffs from promoters and managers to look the other way and promote fighters, okay? And this practice wasn't new. It's as old as boxing, okay? And the mob controlled it all, from the trainers, managers, and like I say, to the reporters, right? And they controlled it by a combination of intimidation and payoffs. And that ensured everybody they wanted was under their control. Everybody, okay? If you didn't want to take the payoff, then you and your family got threatened, okay? But Sugar Ray Robinson refused it numerous times, and they didn't bother him. He got held back from a title shots for a while, but no harm came to him because Sugar Ray just had that respect like that, even from the mob, okay? Now, to break this, a man far removed from boxing's jurisdiction was required to take a stand. This man was Estes Kefauver. Born in Madisonville, Tennessee, Kefauver was the very personification of the word nerd, okay? This is a man that helped take him down. A childhood spent traveling through works of Shakespeare was followed by a law degree from Yale, where a thirst for politics and government was developed, and eventually quenched with his election to the Senate in 1949. He was a senator, and he was the one that, finally had to take a stand. A thoroughly decent and trustworthy man, Kefauver believed in the goodness of men, believed in America's morals, and treated all those that stepped into his office, be they white, black, purple, or green, with the utmost dignity and respect. Organized crime disgusted him, okay? Especially the work of the Mafia, where decency was considered irrelevant, okay? In the endless pursuit of personal satisfaction, went against all the principles that Kefauver believed in. So once he got some real power, he wasn't going to squander his opportunity. And he set about ending organized crime, okay? And he went at it hard, man, with a vigor seldom seen in politicians. You know, usually they're just giving speeches and preaching and kissing babies and, really backed up by action. You know what I mean? This flawless mentality. What's up, flawless mentality and black entertainment in the building? Salute. Man, I should have like 40 likes. At least 30. At least 30. Let me look again. 15. Oh, but that's good. Okay. Now, yeah, this guy, Kefauver, a senator, he the one that went after the mob. He said about ending organized crime, okay? Now, he ignored political bartering, ignored compromise, and slowly, despite making several mistakes along the way, he got the job done. It was in 1960 that his committee was finally able to bring justice against boxing's illegal ruling classes. Because of a fighter these murdering mobsters had deemed too unstable to consider a serious investment. Okay? Don Jordan. Don Jordan, he was a talented, but he was erratic. He was a welterweight. He was identified as a potential champion by the most legal of this unholy foursome, Truman Gibson, right? Now with Gibson backing him, Jordan, with less than an impressive career record, suddenly found himself thrust into a world title shot, okay, against the recently crowned champion, Virgil Atkins. Jordan was an overwhelming underdog, right? But he went in there and won. Okay. Okay. Now, Carbo, he was mad at how the sloppiness potentially could cost him thousands of dollars. He set about his usual tactics and intimidation. Jordan's manager was Don Nessif. He refused to buckle. Okay. Jordan went in there and won the title legitimately. So now he's the champion. The Mafia won't get his hands into him. So Carbo went after his manager. But his manager refused to buckle, Don Nessif. Okay. And he told Carbo and his henchmen they wasn't getting a cut of anything out of his new champion, okay? Now, Jackie Leonard, he was the first one to introduce this senator to Don Jordan, okay? He reported Carbo to the authorities. And unsurprisingly, he was found beaten, senseless, a couple of days later. Now, that's when charges of extortion, menacing, and conspiracy toward Leonard and Nessif were brought against the trio of Gibson, Carbo, and Palermo, three of the people that had been at that table, okay? Once this guy, Leonard, reported it, that's when the senator finally had some evidence. Somebody was finally bold enough to stand up against him, okay? Yep, and he also charged Norris because of his dealings in the horse racing and hockey. No, Norris didn't get charged, okay? Now, the trial lasted 3 months. It was the lawyer, Palermo, Gibson, Carbo, and Palermo. Now, the trial lasted 3 months, okay? It was a blockbuster. They had top managers, trainers, promoters, and fighters all called to the stand in an effort to officially unravel in court the severity to which boxing had come. A plaything for New York's mob, right? Now, every day the evidence stacked up against him, especially Palermo and Carbo. Okay, you know, the lawyer, he was trying to, you know, he was well, he kind of covered his tracks, but not enough. Okay. Now, the eventual verdict was damning. 25 years in Alcatraz for Carbo, 15 years for Palermo. And guess what? I told you, the lawyer was smart. He had his tracks covered. He got 5 years probation. Okay. Yeah. But that's how they brought him down. This senator, then this boxer, Don Jordan, got the title, and they went after him. But his manager wouldn't buckle under to the mob. Okay. And one of his other associates reported the mob trying to bribe them to the authorities, and then they beat this guy up, man, almost beat him to death, beat him senseless. That's when the senator finally got his evidence, and he went in there, and he got enough managers, boxers, trainers, promoters to testify against him, and they brought him down. Yep. But guess what? They still ain't brought the Godfather down yet. I'm gonna start putting this link in there too, okay? Because Remo gonna be up in like 5 minutes. Still ain't start bringing the Godfather down, right? We still got him. And Mauricio. Everybody smashing on that like button. So that was the Mafia show. And the rest of the week, tomorrow we're gonna talk about some of these historic trilogies, man, like Ali Frazier, Bo Holyfield had a good trilogy. How about Gotti Ward? Yeah, I got 15 trilogies that we're going to talk about tomorrow. And then Thursday, it's going to be on the venues, right? Because all these great fights got to take place somewhere, you know. Like I said, Ali Frazier, Floyd Mann, they couldn't go out in the backyard and fight, right? We want to see them. So we're going to talk about these great venues that these fights have been taking place with over the years, like the Garden, you know, MSG, the Garden. How about MGM Grand out in Vegas? You know, MSG. Got to turn the thing down. Can't forget Caesar's Palace and Wembley. Some of the greatest fights in European history have been fought in Wembley. York Hall, the old York Hall, the A2, the AO, right? The AO, O2, all those places. And we can't forget old Boardwalk Hall up in Atlantic City. That's gonna be on my list. Yeah. I've been up in there. I seen an all-women's fight up there one time, local fighters. Good card. I just happened to be up there at the casino that night. And that fight just happened to be going on. So that's what we're gonna do Thursday. And then Friday is the profile. It's gonna be Rocky Marciano. Every Friday we profile a former boxer. This is the second one, by the way. We just started last week with George Dixon. This week is going to be The Rock, Rocky Marciano. Yep. 49-0. And Floyd went to 50-0. It's a guy that Ricardo Lopez is 51-0, but he has a draw. So I guess if he didn't have that draw, Floyd would have had to go to 52-0, right? But you're Ricardo Lopez, 51-0. He had the strawweight 105 championship all the way through the 90s. Because I always was saying that Joe Louis was the only fighter to hold a championship for an entire decade. No, he wasn't. Ricardo Lopez had the title all the way through the 90s. And this is not just for Remo. Anybody, we got 15 minutes. Anybody want to chop it up or chop it down can come on up and do it. But if we want to get our preview of hashtag Let's Talk Fashion. I had that ring in the background through all my presentation. Yeah. Yeah. Anybody that want to come chop it up for the last 15 minutes? And we're going to lead you right on into The Voice. Just Do Boxing, coming up at 4 o'clock. Okay? That's who I'm warming you up for. And make sure you stop by tomorrow too. For those trilogies, man. It's gonna be fire. Okay? And don't forget Thursday for the venues. We're gonna talk about some historic venues. And then Friday, we're gonna end the week off with The Rock. Told you had a big week for you. Yeah. Here's the Rise Podcast in the building. Salute to the Rise Podcast. The closer of the JBT nightly. 9 p.m. weeknights, Monday through Friday, 12 p.m. on Sunday. I don't have to tell y'all about the Rise Podcast. Everybody knows about the Rise Podcast, though. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Here's Remo. We're going to hear about this hashtag, Let's Talk Fashion now, y'all. What's up, Remo? Almost Wednesday again.
Yo.
Man, it seems like you do your show every day now, so.
Man,
a week that went by.
I'm just trying to stay consistent, baby. That's it.
I'm just saying how fast these weeks going by. It seems like I do like 3 a day instead of 1.
More sun, more sun, the more merrier. We out here now, man.
I mean, I ain't mad. I'm glad it's time for another hashtag, Let's Talk Fashion. You know?
Appreciate it.
So what's going on with it?
This week we got a special guest. We got a reality stars that are gonna be in the building, man. Somebody from he's on VH1's Black Ink Crew.
Okay.
Homeboy from Harlem. Just had a good conversation about just life, and didn't really get messy. We just talked about the current state of things. And we also spoke about leveraging your likeness. And there's a difference between being popular, being a star, and being a mega star.
Right.
So we dive into what's some attributes and what's things that people have done in the past to make themselves mega stars outside of just their lane, whether it be music, whatever.
What's up, Jay? Gotcha. What happened, Jay? He came up and went back out. Oh, go keep on, Remo.
Yeah, just enjoying the journey so far, Hey, there you go. What's up, Jay?
Okay, there you go. What's up, Jay? There's Cheryl Whitley in the building. What's up, Cheryl Whitley? What's going on, Jay? We can't hear you. You kind of low.
Get your headphones, Jay.
Salute to Cheryl Whitley in the building.
You know what I was saying
down here.
I'm listening to this episode. I said, man, what a Black Mafia. We needed a mob back then.
They wasn't into boxing. Didn't have it hooked into boxing. If they was, however powerful they was, not like
that's what we needed though. We needed that too for us. We needed some kind of representation.
We had Don King all through the 70s and 80s.
Well, yeah, but he was putting in his own work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Don's still promoting.
Yeah.
Did you finish? Okay. Was it? Go ahead, Remo.
No, I meant
saying?
Don was putting in his own work. Don will put his hands on you himself. He don't need no sending no goons.
No, Don did his own work. He went to prison for killing somebody.
Absolutely.
He killed another guy, but they said the guy had robbed him or something like that. I don't know the whole story. He killed 2 people. Mm-hmm.
So, man. What Jay saying over there? He sound like he in a swimming pool.
I said Don King was the mafia by himself.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Oh, there's somebody else. Let me get him up here. That's
Remo, we couldn't have a mafia back then.
Why not?
Why not?
Just getting out of slavery.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that's true. What's up, Senior?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you good. You said we couldn't have a mafia back then.
We couldn't have, every time we banded together as a group, they made sure we was the first ones to get dismembered.
They go after exactly.
Yeah, as a group, we too powerful. They until this day, they still can't have that. Just look around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They would nip that in the bud.
Man.
You're right, Senior. They would nip that in the bud fast.
Yeah.
But when we do stick together, things do happen, man. Look at Bud and Earl. They made it happen. They wanted it.
What's
They
up,
fought
Rich
against the
Gas?
system.
We couldn't be on the forefront. We had to stay low key and on the
Look
ground.
at them. Look at them. They're right there standing on the glass over there.
Man, y'all having a show enough marathon today, man. Hey, don't worry about it. I'm screenshotting. I'm screenshotting. Jay called me a snitch. I'm screenshotting, and I'm going to all y'all bosses unless I get a check for $1,000.
Wow. Yeah. But we still got 10
Shout out to my
minutes.
guy
We got
Cash
the voice
Sports,
coming
man.
up. We still got 10 minutes. Then we got the voice coming up. We got everybody in here. J Hardcore at 8, and the Rise Podcast shutting it down at 9. Got the whole crew in here. Let's get ready for his show, I guess.
JBT been going crazy all day long.
Remo in here from hashtag Let's Talk Fashion.
Y'all don't even realize Jay Hardcore talking, can't nobody hear him.
Can't hear you, Jay.
I say just a block party.
That's all. What's up, Bruce Gas? I thought Bruce Gas came in here. Did I bring him up? Oh, shit. Sorry. There you go, Bruce.
I was in you booting me out.
I thought I did. What's
My guy
up?
Bruce Gas in the building.
Hey, I'm just bopping around. I see somebody drop a free link out there. I say, hell, man, I'll go in and see what they're serving, you know?
Yeah. That's and I was telling everybody that's where I go to get my history over at Bruce Gas.
Hey, sometimes that's all we can offer is history, because the way my mind is, I can't think currently, bro. I forget what I had for breakfast this morning. But I can tell you about Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier, or the whole trilogy, bro. I mean, that's the way my mind works.
And
I'm stuck in the
past.
past.
Going on currently, you want to forget it anyway.
That's it, my bro.
What y'all think about Fundora? How did he get a title shot when he just coming off a loss? Where did he do that at?
He was already right there on the card. He was already right there on the
card.
card.
He was already on the card.
Around.
That's true. Yeah, that's a good point there too, because he was right there. I was like, damn.
You just took all that time with this episode. That's what you equated to.
What's that?
He on the right side, he can know the right people, and he gonna get the right opportunities without even deserving.
Bud activated as mandatory. He got the winner.
It ain't history.
Oh, he did?
Yep. Yeah. He got the winner.
Know that?
What you saying, Jay? You gotta talk up.
I am talking up, man. Can you hear me?
I hear you now.
Barely.
That's that gas station
Still
phone,
low
man.
though.
I said
Wow.
it ain't history to Bruce Gas, man. He lived through all this stuff.
You always say that, man.
It's a memory for him.
Yeah.
Hey, I just did something that I haven't done in probably 45 years, bro. Not quite 45 years, but I purchased a pay-per-view today because I'm going on live. I'm going to call Hasim Rahman versus the unknown opponent. And it only cost me $12.99. So I said, what the heck? I'm going to break down. I wanted to watch the Christian Hammer and the Dillian White fight on Sunday. And I couldn't find it anywhere. I couldn't stream it. I couldn't buy it. It was like, what the fuck, man? I was really bummed out. So today I said, I'm gonna buy it.
So see, Rockman is today, Bruce?
Yeah, tonight, 7:00.
So what you mean, the what opponent? Unseen opponent? Unknown opponent?
Unknown opponent. He said that 7 opponents have backed out. The fight's been altered. And they all
tonight?
We're gonna find out tonight. And I said, hey man, it looks like a shit show because I never heard of anybody on the card. There's 9 fights on there, and hey, it's boxing. You know them junkies when the crappy dope is in town, they gotta take it. You gotta satisfy that habit one way or the other. So this is gonna be a little bit of a weak fix for us boxing junkies over here, man.
And you found out the opponent at the time of the fight. Wow. That's a new one there.
Yeah, I know Hasim, so I texted him earlier, but he didn't get back to me. It's fight day, so I'm sure he's real busy. But I asked him if he knew who the opponent was yet, and he hasn't. You know, it's really strange. You know, it's really this weird world of boxing that we live in. They can throw shit at us like this and actually charge us to watch it. I don't know what world this is, man. I don't know what boxing society I live in.
Where's this fight at, Bruce?
It's in Tampa, I believe.
Oh, okay, Tampa. Yeah,
I got a question for Bruce. With the passion that you talk about this sport, what's the origin of that? Like, what caused you to love boxing that much? Because, like, you know, boxing in and out like crazy, and it feels like you don't miss a beat. You even the small shows. That's just craziness. But like, what started that?
Jay said it. He lived through it, like Jay said.
No, but I'm saying it's different when it's not just certain cards. It's every card. He wants to be engulfed. Right. But like, what brought that about?
Well, you know, it's pretty much the same as all you cats on YouTube. You know, when I was younger, I saw a boxing match on the tube. It was way back in like 1970, and I'm like, look at this shit. I mean, people are going crazy. This isn't like wrestling. These guys are really hitting each other, and you know, knockdowns. I mean, it just captivated me, and you know, I just started watching all the fights I could. I started buying the magazines, and I just became a fan of the sport. And you know, there weren't a lot of boxing fans at the time. Most of the people I knew, they were into baseball, you know, just like today, football, basketball. So there was a huge. But you know, I seem to have found a bunch of people my age, you know, back in the 80s, the 70s. We would all get together. We'd watch fights. If it was a pay-per-view, we'd rent a hotel, and rent a room, and you know, have a spread up there. And you know, it's just been a passionate love for my life. And now that I found this, with all you crazy bastards talking boxing 24/7, I said, I'm in man, you know?
Anytime. Yep. There's Uncle Dre Finest in the building. What's up, Dre?
My uncle.
Yeah, Dre's Finest. Wow. What's happening? Haven't seen him in a while.
Uncle Dre, I just was asking about Uncle Dre earlier. You got your glasses on, Uncle Dre?
Yeah, he in here.
Yeah. That old geezer in here.
Yeah. What's up? Yeah, Dre Pop through every now and then. Okay, we got like 3 minutes to the voice. We're gonna get ready for him. Slide on over there. He's up next. And then don't forget, we got Jay Hardcore spinning the block at 8. And then the closer, the Rise podcast, of course, at 9. Turn out the lights and close the door for the JBT.
Thanks for having me.
Huh? What was that?
Appreciate you for having me in the building, Cass. See you later on.
Always a pleasure. And I'll see everybody.
Good show.
Right on. I'm gonna see y'all again today. You can't get rid of me that easy. Just do the hardcore to Rise somewhere along the way. We're gonna meet up again. Fire panel, all-star panel right there, man. Ooh-wee. Thing's on fire over here. But yeah, the voice is coming up in a couple minutes. I'm gonna slide over there, and I'll probably see y'all in there. Another Cass Sports is now going into the history books. Appreciate everybody that keeps rocking with my growing channel. I'll be back tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Because if it's 2 o'clock, it's the box story. Bringing that history. And remember, we're going to talk about those fire trilogies tomorrow. Don't miss that. I got some good ones. Ali Frazier, Gotti Ward, Bo Holyfield, and many more. I'll see y'all over at Just Dudes. I'm out.